Melissa Jade, thank you so much for sitting down with me today to share your experience working one-on-one together at the end of 2023. Mel, I'm so privileged to be able to sit down and talk to you more today because you have gone through such energetic upgrades personally, in your business, in your relationships, and I want to talk more into the range of things today. But
hmm
just from the get-go, can you talk to us about like what was life like before coaching and what motivated you to commit to one-on-one?
Well, before coaching, I was just going through like a lot of changes in my life, and it was like a lot of kind of big events were hitting all at once. So it just got to the point where I was just feeling like very overwhelmed and just like found it hard to kind of concentrate on like the practical things and just like self-care and
Mm. I wonder what really worked well for you in the beginning of coaching that I
Mhm.
really helped solidify in your life more and more.
I think it was definitely just having like the support and like the one-on-one support. And I think just having someone that's like genuine and like genuinely caring as well, that can just hold space for you to process things and for your healing was really helpful.
And get those things off your chest, like you
hmm
said, in a safe space. And then I suppose also highlight the big themes. I don't know about you, but I feel like when we're overwhelmed, everything just gets cluttered into
hmm
one big, dense, dark cloud. And
Yeah.
our coaching sort of fleshed that out to see, like, oh, I'm actually stressed about X and Y and Z. And then
Yeah.
we focused on very atomic ways and small habits and brave steps to break down the stress so it's not
hmm
so heightened for you in your body, and then that worrying energy keeps you in the vicious cycle.
Because I think when you're in such a place of like trauma and grief, it's really hard just to like kind of remember like the basic things sometimes. And so just having like the practical things and just, yeah, like the journaling and the self-reflection was really powerful, like a good reminder just to be able to like process things and like unwind everything a bit more so it just didn't feel so messy.
Yeah, and so unattainable to heal
Mm.
or to
Yeah.
process grief with
Yeah.
the responsibilities and obligations of life, and
Yeah.
constantly sort of putting our need for processing last at the end of
Mm.
the day, and then we're
Yeah.
awake in bed and our mind is just racing. It's like, hold on, what about if we carve out some time for Mel to journal just for 30 minutes in the morning and get things off your
Mm.
chest and take that small brave step instead
Yeah.
of constantly just being in our head and saying to ourselves, I need to process, I need to feel, but never carving out the space to do it.
Never actually like feeling. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
because I could see that desire in you,
Yeah.
and we just needed some structure and some space with the practical
Mm.
tips of journaling, meditating, time in nature, dancing, listening to music,
hmm
energetic resets, guided meditations,
Yeah.
enhancing your environment, like with lights and beautiful posters and a
Mm.
great guitar and like all of these things that you really wanted to do deep
Yeah.
down, but maybe you just needed someone like me to come in and say, like, let's do it. You're going to go
Mm.
out and book that in. You're going to go out and buy that thing. You're going to do this for you because it elevates your energy.
Yeah. hmm
Mm. Talk to us a little bit more, Mels, about during coaching, what do you feel really helped you and what you saw and felt were big energetic upgrades for you in your life, business, relationships?
I think like one of the things like we worked on a lot was boundaries and just like getting really clear as well, like with my intentions, which was really helpful. And I think one of the most important things too is just having a wide range of tools and knowledge that you can share, and that it's like tools that I can use now and also for the rest of my life to just you can take those away. And some things like when we were coaching were kind of like the things I needed in that moment to get through. And like there was a lot of things though that we had kind of worked on, but it was more like planting the seeds to help me further down the track too. And yeah, I think one of like the most helpful things was just kind of changing my mindset around with my business. And it just felt like with the time that I did have, it just felt like I always wanted to be working or put like effort into my work, when it was just kind of like flipping it around and putting like self-care first to be able to, yeah, just really take care of myself and just like process everything that I was going through.
For sure. Because what we did was flipping that around with your priority
Hmm.
pyramid. A business by design is having self-care as the foundation. So
Yeah.
that we have time to regulate our nervous system so that we are really clear and make good decisions on
Hmm.
the not only in our business but on our business. So we, like you said perfectly, planted the seeds for long-term business growth by working on your
Mm.
business in regards to the product suite and the pricing and how you're going to structure it, and a business by design that feels really good for your life, that complements it, that leads to more freedom and money and things that you really love. And
Hmm.
I can see that so clear now because we're recording this in March 2024, and those seedlings that we planted back in August 2023 have really grown and are starting
Yeah.
to take shape.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. I remember we had a lot of conversations about boundaries, communicating to people around you, analyzing dreams,
Yeah.
and also the difference between like your money mindset now, because your money mindset before, can you tell us a little bit more about how that's changed and evolved?
Yeah, I think it's because I'm like in between, like with work and my business. And so there is this like kind of clash, I guess, of like that you're working, but then wanting to grow a business and kind of be outside that way of like how money works. And so I think it was like a lot of the work and just getting to like the deeper like issues around it, and just beliefs that like that were holding me back as well. But just having the space, I think, to do that just really helps to kind of unlock like the next level.
And would you say one-on-one coaching gets to that deeper level because of personalization and time spent together?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think because I did like one-on-one coaching and a group program, and I think they just both work so well together too, because it's like you can do the work and like meet other people too that are going through similar things. But then the one-on-one coaching is really good, like, especially I think if you just want personalized guidance, just really having the time and space for that.
Mm, absolutely. I remember we spoke a lot about how, yeah, some things can be cheaper, but they're energetic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
that was a really big one.
right? So these can be really small examples or really big examples, but we want to
Mm,
find where spending money or saving money comes from a place of self-worth and knowing that
mhm,
how we're using our money is going to be energetically a good investment. So there's a big difference between responsibility and the energy of restriction.
mhm,
And restriction is often based in like, I can't spend any money on myself or what I want, or to go book a massage or go get the food that I really like. But in
mhm.
fact, spending money on ourselves like that is very energetically satisfying. And then when we're energetically satisfied, our energy is elevated and it has a
Mm-hmm.
huge ripple effect on our business, our life, our relationships. And in turn, I think a lot of the time we make more money in our business as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And it's like it's just like aligning like your values like with money and just having integrity with that. And like you might be saving money somewhere, but it's just like where is that going to cost you like later on? And it just, yeah, really like shifted my beliefs around money like in a good way.
What am I like as a coach?
So I think you just are able to hold like a good space for people to have that like deep reflection, but like also in a like light-hearted way as well. And that's like fun. Yeah. And just like very like caring and nurturing, but you're also able to like just hold people accountable too for where like they need to take action. And even if it's just like breaking it down into small steps, because I think that was something really big for me, was that I knew that I needed support like at that time, and I just was trying to find like the right fit. And I think I just didn't want to be in a space where I was like being pushed so much because of like the situation I was in. And I just needed like the more kind of gentle like approach, but someone that was also going to like hold me accountable to like, well, I also have these goals and dreams with my business that I don't want to let go of as I'm like processing all this trauma.
For sure. And I think that when we were working together, there was so much pressure in your system to begin with
Yeah.
around, I really want to grow my business, but I also really want to take time for myself to heal and feel and process.
Hmm.
And I remember that we put the pressure into proportion. So
Yeah.
instead of it being like, you need to do this within 1 month, we stretch that out. Let's do it over 12 months. And when
Mm.
we have
Hmm.
that, we also create a long-term vision, which we really worked on of like,
Yeah.
what's Mel's vision? What does she really want deep down? What are her values? What does she believe in? What's worth living for?
Hmm.
Because long term, we are the ones creating that. And you
Mm.
know that once you're really clear and you're passionate and you know that this is what you want, then we took those brave small steps in alignment.
Yeah. Hmm. And I think one of the things that helped me a lot too in the beginning was just, it was like something I felt like I'd lost touch with a bit. And it was, I think you might have shared this in your challenge, but like brought it up again in like the one-on-one coaching, was it was like a list of, I don't know if it was like 50 or 100 things. Yeah, that one, like that, the process of doing that too, I think just brought a lot of like fun back and just like clarity around like what it is that actually makes me feel happy and good, because that's like what I needed more of in that time as well. Yeah, and that was really helpful.
Totally. Because why are we doing it, right? Why do we
Yeah.
want a successful business? Why do we want to process and feel? Why do we want to have more space? So that we can be happy, so that we
Yeah.
can have more joy and freedom and emotional connection and intimacy and love and
Hmm.
adventure and choice, right? So I love that you reflected that to me around my coaching style that, yeah, there's a lot of accountability, a lot of vision, a lot of small steps, but there's a lot of fun and joy and laughter and also like authentic connection around who is Mel. Like I want to know you as a person as
Hmm.
much as I want to know where you want to take your business, how you want to grow it,
Mm.
what's your
Yeah.
long-term vision, because that's what it's all about.
Hmm.
You know, see things down that you know for sure really not only you enjoy, but create more depth in your life because we not only want to live the length of our life, we want to live the depth of it. And that takes practice on knowing when are those little moments where I can just press pause and savor what's going on around me.
Hmm.
And can I engineer more of those moments?
Mhm.
What's life like now, Mels? Like you said, we've planted those seeds, things are growing, you're in a transition. And really
Mm.
see this with a lot of people. And I think we're always sort of going through these level up transitions as we reach a point, we normalize it, then we aim higher and we do it again.
Yeah.
In this transition, your consciousness is elevating and you are sort of going up at this new level and then coming
Mhm.
back down at times and going
Yeah.
up again and then coming back down. So we're getting slowly, we're acclimatizing up and up and
Mm.
up. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that and where you're going and what's life like
Mm.
now and what are you practicing? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. And I think that's one of the biggest things is just the direction that's more important. And I think it's really motivating just breaking things down and taking a tiny step forward, even if it's what you can do at that time, because you get momentum from that. And I think that's kind of where I'm at now, because initially in the place where I was at, it just kind of felt like I was drowning, but now I think I'm just much more grounded and have more clarity around what's like going on in my life. There are still a lot of challenges, but now I feel like I can surf or I can ride the waves like much better, whereas before it just felt very difficult.
Totally. I used to think like because you're a very deep person and you're working on a very high level with regards to what you do, you're constantly swimming in deep water. It's very deep territory. You're thinking very
Yeah.
deeply and you're thinking about very high level, deep things. So
Hmm.
we need to, one, know how to swim, two, know where the shallow waters are too, like the shallow
Mm.
conversations, the small responsibilities, the time to
Hmm.
unwind. And then also, three, have an island where we can have a
Yeah.
safe escape, right?
Yeah.
I can just take a moment, half an hour, 2 hours the weekend on my
Hmm.
island of a safe escape where I'm not thinking about all the deep stuff. And I can
Yeah.
just feel the reset and rejuvenation and then
Hmm.
get back in there when I need to.
That's a really good analogy too.
Yeah. I love the surfing analogy because
Mhm.
when you learn to surf, you start on small waves
Yeah.
and then you start to risk more and more until you're a pro
Mm.
surfer and all of a sudden you're riding 12-foot out Chopu and you're not even phased. And it's what you want
Yeah.
to do. It's sort of the same in business. You take on more risk as you grow
Mm.
because
Mhm.
there's no other thing you want to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mel, would you recommend doing one-on-one or group coaching for someone that's sitting on the fence right now? What would you say to them?
I would say like it's definitely worth the investment and the transformation that's just on the other side of that. It's like priceless. Being very interested in like personal development and, just working through my own things and evolving. And it's something I always think about with money too, and like where I invest my money, because it's just like all of the physical tools like around us are great and they can support us. But at the end of the day, it's the person we become and it's how we change and it's the transformation in us that we take with us. So to me, like that's the most important thing.
See what I mean? We're already in such deep territory. It's such a spiritual, deep experience. We have an
Yeah.
eternal relationship with ourselves, and to
Yeah.
develop that, to invest in that, to learn about that, to understand what is our earthly mission, what is our spiritual assignment, what are our tests for, and going
Mm.
to that deep place is very welcomed in our containers because
Hmm.
that's where we want to work and we wouldn't really want
Mm.
it any other way.
And I think too, with how busy it can feel sometimes in just day to day life and the pressures, people need that place where they can just slow down and reflect. And yeah, it's just much needed.
Yeah, very true. Is there anything else you want to share, Mel, before we wrap up?
Just thank you for our coaching. It's been so helpful through probably one of the hardest times of my life. So thank you. And thank you for all the work that you do for other people too.
Totally receiving that, Mels, and it's my complete honor and privilege. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonial and words today.
Thank you.